Hi, guys. This is an in depth investigation into Iran and the water crisis. Who is playing the blame game? Who is hiding water corruption? Scientists declare that the Earth has lost 40% of its fresh water over the past 30 years. This involves water from the poles, rivers, streams, dams, and lakes, and icebergs. This drought is a regional problem. Iraq's two rivers, Tigris and the Euphrates, are greatly depleted. This is the worst drought in 100 years for Iraq. Turkey has experienced 27% less rainfall over the past year. Water restrictions have started. Some parts of Turkey, rainfall has dropped 70% in 2025. Iran's population of 92.8 million, December 25, there were no water problems prior to the 1979 Islamic Revolution, when there were only 39 million people in Iran. Tehran in the 1930s was revamped for 2 million people. Now there are over possibly 17 million people in Tehran and the surrounding areas. Tehran, this figure is often given. 70% of the people consume more than 130 litres per day. I have a problem with this idea of more than. How much more than? So I did some more research. Citizens consume 157 litres to 400 litres per person per day. This is up to 3 times other major cities around the world, where their average is about 130 litres per person. The last 6 consecutive years of Iran were considered extreme dryness. 40% less rainfall in those years. Between 2024 and 2025, rainfall dropped across Iran 45%. September to November 25, Iran experienced 89% less rainfall than normal. Tehran had no rainfall for 220 days up till December the 10th. Here are exact figures rather than saying 40% less than normal. The green figures actually show what 40% less means. Isfahan, only 72 millimetres. Tehran, 257 millimetres. The average for Iran was 250 millimetres. This table shows the percentage in dams for the top 19 largest dams in Iran. These are very small amounts. If Iran started off with a dam with 1,000 litres in it, seepage from the dam is 30%. Leakage from pipes in Tehran is 30%. Agriculture wants 92% of what they can get. Tehran, 25%. That only leaves 29.4 litres for the entire country. There are 40 dams built on 13 rivers supplying Lake Urmia with water. There is no water going in. A million-year-old lake has dried. The water mafia took the water for agriculture. This is an example of flood irrigation. It is a very primitive form of watering plants. Between 65% and 95% of the water is wasted in evaporation and seepage. This is a really bad mindset. Lake Urmia on the left in 1984 was considered to be a 1,000-year water reserve. The water mafia consumed all of that in 30 years. Lake Urmia, this was the sixth largest saltwater lake on Earth. It was 140 kilometres north to south. Now it has been fully consumed. There is no water left. Dust and salt storms are killing people. Lake Urmia, heavy metal contamination. The drying salt bed releases dust containing metals like zinc, copper, lead, cadmium, chromium, and arsenic into the air and soil. In the air, it's dangerous. In the soil, it's dangerous. Nearly 59,000 people in Iran died last year due to exposure to dangerous air pollution levels, according to Ministry of Health, 10th of November 2025. That is 7 people die per hour in Iran. Agriculture uses 90% of the available water, what they can get their hands on. This is only 12% of Iran that is used for farming. Iran encourages farmers to grow crops not suited to Iran's climate, like pistachios, almonds, maize, which is animal feed, alfalfa, rice, watermelon, cucumber, apples. All of these things require a lot of water. So I did some research. This table shows how much water is consumed by these fruits and vegetables and grasses. It's a hot climate. They use flood irrigation, sandy soils. Almonds require 16,000 litres to produce 1 kilogram of almonds. What is subsidence? It's the pumping out of water from aquifers, lowering the water table, causes slow, uneven sinking of the land, destroying the aquifer. This is permanent destruction. Approximately 40% of Tehran's population relies on groundwater, mostly from illegal wells. Some wells are now dry. This is subsidence that has resulted in a sinkhole in Tehran. The average subsidence in Tehran is 35 centimetres per year. This cannot be stopped. There has not been restriction on water extraction. Land subsidence is not a small problem. Permanent consequences. This is a forever problem. Below that hole is compacted rocks and soil. Water cannot penetrate it into an aquifer. The diagram here, on the left, you have a normal aquifer full of water. They put a well in and keep extending that down until they hit bedrock and then take all the water. The diagram on the right shows what happens when the ground collapses, forming a solid plug with a hole above it. This is Kurdabad, Hamadan province. This hole is 60 meters deep. If all of the rainfall from the area fills up that hole and none is lost with runoff or evaporation, it takes 190 years to fill up that hole. If we look at this building on the left, which has begun to fall just like a sinkhole does, when it falls, all of that building or all of the hole is compressed and leaves a hole. World critical level for subsidence is 4 millimeters per year. Isfahan is now 100 millimeters per year, while Tehran is 350 millimeters per year. This is the worst in the world. These averages are just that. Averages can be more, can be less. Drive anywhere with a tractor here. All those circles are sinkholes. This is a life threatening situation. It is worth the risk because if you don't farm, you have no income. Homes crumble as they sink. The building here is falling apart. The furniture is on the outside of the building, and in a normal environment, it would be condemned. On the left, it looks like the roof is caving in. What is the government doing? President says we no longer have a choice. The move is no longer optional, but a necessity. Well, when it was optional, what did they do? Well, they did nothing. There are no plans. They talk of moving Tehran, which is just talk. They talk of moving 1 to 2 million people. Well, what are they going to do with the other 15 million people? Abandon them? They had 25 years to plan and start building another city, but did nothing. Here they talk of Tehran to Makran. Makran is a very, very dry area. There are no rivers there. There are no reservoirs there. You would have to do desalination of the seawater to get fresh water. Why do numbers vary so much? Last census was 2016. The planned census in 2021 was not done. Why would you not do a census? A government that rules by power and fear does not want its citizens to know the truth. Water situation has been bad for a long time. Keep the people guessing. Easy to deny how severe the water crisis is when population numbers are a guess. Uncertainty is their goal, saying, we have to move. They are still debating in the media, move to where? Nowhere is certain. Between 2015 and 2025, over 1.4 million nomads stopped their traditional way of life. Many sold all their animals and moved to large cities where they thought the struggle to find water to drink would be over. Not if they went to Tehran. Old people who can't carry water for kilometres will die first, alone in their homes or from sickness. The water taps, day zero, where there's no water coming out, is either here now or very, very close. What could Iran do? Well, they can't do much for Tehran. It's beyond hope. They could learn from the past. 3,000 years ago, the Iranians began to build an underground water supply system called the qanat. The qanat tapped into the water table and channeled the water to land where it can be irrigated. The slope of the horizontal layer is zero point 0.5 degrees. Many had no water loss due to no evaporation. In Iran, there may have been 50,000 qanats. These had a total length of 360,000 kilometres. All were maintained for hundreds of generations by families. But the government changed the policy, so they became abandoned, and when they clogged up or something went wrong, no one fixed it. Iran's water crisis has been caused by decades of overconsumption, mismanagement, and corruption, pumping more groundwater from the aquifer than what goes in. The Iranian government was warned over 20 years ago, some say 25 years ago, that Tehran would one day run out of water. What have they done to prepare for this? Well, nothing. No preparation. The supreme leader of Iran runs a government of clerics that hold powerful political positions. They can quote from the Quran, but don't have the knowledge or understanding of what damage they are permanently doing to Iran. 55% of Iran's agricultural water is sourced from pumping out groundwater. Over 790,000 illegal wells in Iran, some say a million, all unregulated. So 55% is a guess. Everything's a guess in Iran. 23% of Iranians involved in agriculture in some way. Restricting water to 23% of the population and the Revolutionary Guard is political suicide. They all like the power. So the agricultural sector has free rein to create more illegal wells and take whatever water from the aquifers they want to continue to produce crops unsuitable for the environment for a country that wants to be independent. Government have said they lowered water availability by reducing pressure. This is not true. They didn't say broken pipes we haven't fixed leaks 30% of water, and officials may or may not have stolen money that was meant for maintenance. Tehran population, politicians often say 9 million, while others say nighttime 9 million, daytime 14 million. Water has been turned off overnight with no electricity. This means carry any water you want up 20 or more flights of stairs. There is no pressure above the second floor. Hospitals without water and electricity. This is a life threatening situation. Every machine or generator you buy will break down. If you're on life support, the government is responsible. The government run water mafia are the Revolutionary Guard. They are controlling the water trucks and tankers that enter Tehran. They are susceptible to bribes. Like most people in Tehran, their wage is small. It is not evenly distributed. The rich and connected get water, while the poor need to pay 10 times the price of petrol to get 1 litre of water. This is no way to live. Citizens who can afford to leave have begun moving away, leaving behind homes that cannot be sold. They are heading to Gilan, which is north, that has water. It is a green province. Gilan does not have the infrastructure to house 17 million people. Nowhere does. They have put up roadblocks to prevent people from Tehran going there. Those with connections and the rich will escape to other countries, leaving behind the poor in Tehran. Iran had water for only 50 million people. Now there are 97 million people in Iran. The country of Iran needs to buy water from now on and food from other countries to continue. Isfahan is the third largest city in Iran. It is in the desert. It has two major industries there, steel production and petrochemical refining. Both require huge quantities of water in production. This is total mismanagement. Mubarak Steel Company consume billions of litres of water annually. They've been doing this since 1992, which is 33 years ago. They don't use cooling towers. The molten steel goes into water, and the water escapes into the atmosphere. The steel industry of Isfahan is where there was 72 millimeters of rain last year, estimated to be using around 27 million cubic meters of water. This figure doesn't mean anything to me. It's too big, so I've converted it to something that makes sense to me. If every person on Earth, which is 7.7 billion people, takes away 3.5 litres each and pours it into the sea, that's the same amount of water. The oil refinery uses 9 million cubic metres, and together they use 36 million metres, and that's 4.67 litres to every person on the planet, and pour it in the sea. Steam is visible water vapor. It leaves the cooling tower, condensed water drips to the bottom to be reused. This is very inefficient. It's only sprayed once. If there were 5 layers of spray all the way up the tower, more water would be reclaimed. In 2021, the steel industry dried an aquifer that had provided water for 3,000 years. People protested. The problem is they should have protested 30 years ago when they started taking water. The petrochemical and steel industry should never have been put at Isfahan. In the last 6 years, it's not 10 millimeters per month of rainfall, it's only 6 millimeters per month. They both could operate near the coast, pump salt water from the sea, and use it to cool heated water from the industry. They could desalinate water from the sea and get fresh water from there as well. Who is to blame? Who needs to take responsibility? Well, the government is pointing the finger at climate change. The problem with that is the whole planet is experiencing climate change, so it can't be that. Iran and Tehran are not alone, but behave as if they are, as if it's worse for them. They take no responsibility for their corruption, water mafia, insane policies, wrong crops, industry, wrong place, illegal wells, excess dams in a normally very dry climate. Who is to blame among the people? Who needs to take responsibility? The people blame the government. They're not providing water and electricity. That's true. They are correct. Government ultimately is responsible. But the people accept no responsibility for wasting water. Excessive buildings, construction, swimming pools, overconsumption, illegal wells, and flood irrigation. All of these things the people do. Iran as a whole has the attitude, not my problem, not my fault, someone else doesn't have water. Well, all of them are at fault. All of them have a problem. If you want to drink water or tea, you need that for life. Despite rainfall and snow around December 2025, none will have an impact on water tables. The snow stays solid and dams may get some water, but it's just not enough. Aquifers in many places are gone. Subsidence kills aquifers. Aquifers of 100 metres in dry climates take many thousands of years to fill. This can't be fixed overnight. Peaceful protests are met by government forces aiming to suppress the people. The government wants the people to go home, say nothing, Don't go on the internet and basically go away. My channel name is Iranian Nomads. Identity Crisis. I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.